Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought now would be a good time to get back into filming and, producing new videos for you guys, seeing as we're probably going to be spending a lot of time at home over the next few weeks. We don't really know how long we're going to spend at home, but it's going to be a long while. I wasn't sure whether to film this video because I know it's a bit sensitive at the moment, seeing as people can't actually travel. But I wanted to film it because it is the end of my Cambodia series, and also I wanted to film it so then I can film new videos afterwards. So I'm basically just going to go through kind of all the things to do with my Cambodia trip. So how much it cost, how much flights cost, the route that I took, hostels, that type of thing, just so that you guys know kind of the ins and outs of the trip, in case you guys want to go when we can travel in the future. So if you guys don't already know, I went to Cambodia in September of 2019, and I was in Cambodia for about 12 days, although it was kind of like 2 weeks roughly, so there's kind of 1 day each side for traveling, but it was pretty much 12 days actually in Cambodia. I went through Real Gap. So Real Gap are kind of like a UK travel company, especially for like gap years, volunteering, solo traveling, group tours, working abroad, that kind of thing. So yeah, I went with them, and my Cambodia trip was £649. I'm just going to double check that because I have notes on my phone. Yeah, so my Cambodia trip was £649, and I basically reserved it in May. So I put a £49 deposit down in May, and then they give you a set amount that you can pay each month, or you can either pay £200 of your total fee, so that would be £249 that I paid, and then I had as much time to pay it off as I wanted, so I could pay like £100 a month, £50 a month, up until a certain date. So I decided to do that. I paid £49, and then a couple of weeks later I paid £200, which then gave me, I think, about 3 or 4 months to pay the rest of it off. So that was the best way financially for myself to pay it off. I was really happy with that. So the trip itself, so in that £649 you get included airport pickup, 11 nights of accommodation, all transport between destinations in the country, catered tour guide, cooking class, sunrise tour of Angkor Wat, a market tour, S21 prison visit, and also a visit to the killing fields, water activities, a river cruise, jungle trek, or you can go up a mountain, and then you do a couple of dinners, and that also includes 24-hour emergency support. What it doesn't include is flights, travel insurance, visa, meals that are not listed on the itinerary, any optional activities, and return transfer to the airport. So, bearing that in mind, you can go through Real Gap to find flights. So Real Gap found me some flights, and they were £585 return, which is really good considering how far away it is. But that was with one stopover. So I basically flew from London Heathrow to Bangkok, which was about 10 hours, I believe, 11 hours, and then from Bangkok I had about an hour layover, which was really tight actually, because Bangkok airport is huge. I can't even explain to you how big it is. So yeah, I had an hour's layover there, and I just about had enough time to go literally to the gate. And then from Bangkok I went to Cambodia. So on the way there I went to Siem Reap, which is in the north of Cambodia, and then on the way back I flew from Phnom Penh, which is the capital of Cambodia, back to Bangkok, and then Bangkok back to London Heathrow. So other things I wanted to talk about is spending money. So I took about £400. They do it in dollars. So the way that the Cambodia currency works is that they are heavily into American dollars. So that's kind of what you'll spend most of your money with. But they give you change back in their local currency, which is Cambodian riel. But $1 is a lot of Cambodian riel. So just be sure that when you're spending Cambodian riel, sometimes you can't buy that much because it's not enough. You can buy small things like water and that kind of thing. So we found that we took like maybe 2 or 3 days before we actually had enough Cambodian riel to, buy something worthwhile. So yeah, I got £400. I took £200 in cash, so it was about $275 I would say in cash, and then the rest I had on my Monzo card. So Monzo is great because you can take up to £200 out per month for free abroad, and then after that they charge you. So £400 was enough for me because I didn't need to spend much money on other things. I knew I was just going to buy like souvenirs, food here and there, water, and that was pretty much it because everything else was included in the tour, so I knew I didn't really need to take as much money as I would on another holiday. Visa was £35, so you just go online and it's really easy. You fill out the application online and it takes maybe like a couple of weeks to come back to you, and it's like a printable version. So I had it on my phone, I had it printed out as well, just in case, and yeah, that's really, really handy. And I normally get yearly insurance because I normally go away maybe like 2-3 times a year, and it's just so much easier because you can just do it all in one go. This time I didn't actually get a yearly insurance because I hadn't been away last year. The only time I went away was to Portugal, but I got kind of like I only went for like a week, so I got like a week-long insurance. So this time I got my own I got my own insurance, which was about £50, and I always use Go Compare because obviously you can find the best insurance there that's suitable for you, and they always compare the rates, so whichever one suits you best. In terms of jabs, so I did get jabs, obviously because I'm travelling to Asia and you can kind of pick up quite a lot of things over there. So I've already had in the past hepatitis A and hepatitis B. I believe it was when I went to South Africa and also Hong Kong as well. I've also been to various other places where you need Hep A and Hep B. So they just gave me a booster which kind of lasts for about 6 months. So I got that about 6 weeks before I travelled because it takes a little while for it to get into your bloodstream, so that's definitely something you want to look up before you go. And now I booked through Real Gap. So Real Gap work with other third-party travel companies. So even though I booked through Real Gap, my tour was actually with a company called True Travels, which are another company who do tours. It's a little bit complicated, but that's kind of how it worked out. So the whole reason why I wanted to do a group tour was because I read this basically book, this series called The Lonely Hearts Travel Club by Katie Collins, and it is so funny, and it just makes kind of like group tours sound really, really fun, and also like, you know, they really test kind of your adventure and like how much you can do and your abilities, and kind of like they really, really test you at times, because it although it's amazing experience and you learn so much about yourself, it's quite a tough experience. I'll go more into that in a bit. But yeah, no, so that was the main reason why I wanted to go. Also because I went to Hong Kong the year before, so I actually went to visit my friend there, so that was a little different because she was kind of with me most of the time. But then again, she wasn't with me sometimes because I would kind of travel on the tube by myself, I would go and eat by myself, and that was like a big step for me because I was like, you know, across the world all by myself, and that was like the first big adventure that I did. And then I went to New Zealand for work, but then in New Zealand there were kind of times where I was by myself again, and New Zealand is like literally across the world, so that again tested my adventure, my sense of adventure, and definitely made me want to go on more adventures. So I decided to take the big leap and go on a tour group because I'd never been on one before, and I'd seen that so many people had been on them and they'd have such like an amazing time, so I wanted to go and see kind of what it was about. That is kind of like the main reasons that I wanted to go travelling. I would say the best parts about travelling on a group tour is that even though you're in a group, you're still kind of solo traveling unless you go with a friend or something. So that's a really great experience. I mean, solo traveling does so much for your soul and your mind, and it just shows that you can actually do it, which is something that I wanted to prove to myself. Anxiety wise, it helped quite a lot because I used to suffer really badly with anxiety in the past. And there was only kind of like a few points in the trip where I felt really anxious. Most of the time I was fine. So yeah, that really kind of like boosted my confidence in that sense. I would say going on a tour group, is life-changing. I mean, I went on it and now I just want to like see the whole world. I want to go traveling, maybe solo traveling. I would just really like to do more things that I would never normally do, and that's such a big thing for me because I'm quite although I like to challenge myself and do a lot of things I don't usually do, I am quite a repetitive person. I like to do things in a certain way. I like to do things kind of similar, so like each weekend I have a routine that I like to do, so in that sense I kind of stick to the same routines. But when it comes to like challenging myself, there are so many things I've challenged myself to over the past kind of 2 years that have really boosted my confidence and really added to my character as a person. So yeah, that was definitely one of them. I mean, going on a trip like that for 2 weeks without your family, without your friends, without knowing anyone out there is a huge thing. I mean, I didn't really understand how big it was till I actually got to Cambodia, and I was like, oh wow, okay, this is gonna be big because I don't know anyone. And yeah, that was a pretty big thing for me. Another thing that I absolutely loved about the trip was the locals. I mean, Cambodian people are so lovely and they're just so happy even though they really don't have that much. The reason why I chose Cambodia is because it's such a country that is in the transition between having nothing and then becoming quite built up like Thailand is. So Thailand and Vietnam are way ahead of Cambodia, and in Cambodia they're just so lucky to have like the small things in life, which just makes you really think about what you have in life and how lucky we are. So yeah, I really loved seeing that because there was just so many happy people there. I mean, people happier than some people are here in the UK, and in the UK we're so privileged to have everything that we have. Yeah, so that was really lovely to see. I mean, I've seen it kind of on TV and stuff, but I've never really seen it in person, so that really opened my eyes and it really kind of persuaded me to like help people in any way that I can, whether they live abroad or whether they live locally in my community. I've been doing a lot more charity things recently because I just think that there's so many people out there that need our help, and if I can do something with my platform, or if I can help people in a little way, then I'm gonna do it, because that's kind of what life is all about at the end of the day. You have to help other people and not just yourself sometimes. And then there's some things about the tour which weren't that great. So obviously sometimes you get a bit homesick. There was probably one time where I got really homesick. I'm not really a homesick type of person. I'm quite fine, you know, going by myself. But yeah, there's sometimes when you get homesick, and I think that it's really important then that you do speak to your family. So we're so lucky to have like technology and we can call them or we can FaceTime them, and that's really important because you're so far away and you're in such a new environment that sometimes everything's so overwhelming. So that was one thing. My anxiety did kick in a couple of times. I think it's because that sometimes everything happens so quickly that it was so overwhelming and your head just can't kind of process what's going on. So the day that we went to Angkor Wat, for example, we got up at like 4:15 in the morning, and then we got back to the hostel about 2 o'clock, I believe. We had a nap for a couple of hours and woke up and went to dinner, and that was it. I was done. I mean, I literally got to dinner and just anxiety kicked in. So everyone else went out for a couple of drinks and I went back to the hostel because I was just so kind of anxious and just tired from the long day. So I just needed to go back and chill out. So sometimes you kind of do that, and you just kind of need to do what feels best for you. Even though you're kind of in a group, there's still kind of points where you can do what you want to do, whether you just want to read a book or you want to listen to your own music or you want to go for a walk by yourself. You know, those kind of things you can do. Just speak to a tour guide and they'll help you out because they're there to help you, and they don't want anyone to feel kind of less comfortable than everyone else is. So yeah, just always speak to your tour guide. Saying that, my tour guide was amazing. We love Holt. He was so sweet, bless him. He was so knowledgeable. He had so much knowledge, and you could just see he was so passionate about being a tour guide, and he was so passionate about just showing people his country, which was so lovely because you could see that himself, he didn't have a lot, but he had so much love to give, and that was what I really loved about him, and I wish him all the best in life, and I hope one day that he has his own tour company that he runs himself, and things like that, which seem like such a faraway dream for people out in Cambodia, but in like 5-10 years time it's completely possible for them, because their whole like country will change and will be like built up, and all that kind of stuff. So I would love to go back to Cambodia in like 5 years time, because it would be so different to what it is now. Like now it's kind of like not as developed as as Thailand or Vietnam, but in 5-10 years it'll be as developed as they are now. It's crazy how things change in the world, and yeah, I would love to go back and visit everyone and see what it's like. Another thing I want to talk about is health and safety. So Cambodia was actually really safe. I found it quite safe. In some parts of it, obviously it's not that safe, but your tour guide will kind of let you know, and you kind of just always keep things hidden, so like your phone and your money and that kind of thing. I mean, I didn't feel unsafe vlogging there, so that was completely fine. I always made sure that I kept a little bit of cash with me every day. I kind of left some in the hostel, and then left some with me, so that if anything happened to me, that I got robbed or something, at least I would have some cash back in the hostel. And I also made sure that I had cards as well, because that's another good way to always have cash on you as well. The thing I would say is definitely make sure to wear sunscreen, because I skipped a few days sometimes, and then I got karma because I got severe sunstroke. I was so ill one day, I just couldn't leave the bed, and this was when we were on the island as well, so it's a bit stupid because you're kind of outside all the time, and the sun's beaming down on you, and I do drink a lot of water, and I was drinking a lot of water, but I think because you're talking with your friends and you're just not really paying attention, that I just forgot to put sunscreen on. I had too much sun that day, and the next day, and I woke up and I was just so ill. So yeah, that wasn't great. That is definitely a lesson to learn. But I would say that always make sure to take some sort of medical kit with you. I kind of took a medical kit with me because obviously I was travelling by myself, and I'd never been to like Asia, like that kind of Asia before. I've been to Hong Kong, but that's slightly different because it's more city and you're not going into the jungle and that type of thing. So Cambodia, I really wanted to make sure that I had kind of everything that I needed. So I had kind of like what did I have? I had like vitamins, I had tummy ache tablets, I had tablets that replaced salts and sugars in your body if you were throwing up a lot. I had paracetamol, I had ibuprofen, I had plasters, I had cream if I got a bite, I had a bite spray. I had literally so much stuff, and to be honest I probably had too much stuff, but then at the end of the day I am one of those people who will pack everything that I need instead of wishing that I had packed it, even if it takes up a little more room, then I'd rather do that because it just gives you peace of mind. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of go through my Cambodia trip with you guys and kind of give you a few tips and tricks and kind of just let you know what my journey was like. So in terms of baggage, so I bought a wheelie kind of rucksack, but it also had straps at the back so you could wear it on your back, and then I had a rucksack itself. The rucksack was great. I mean, I really would suggest getting a rucksack and also a bum bag, because that's great as well. I never thought I'd be the type of person to wear a bum bag, but here I am wearing a bum bag in Cambodia. But yeah, I would say the actual suitcase that I got itself, I would probably get like a backpack next time, because that one was quite heavy because it's got the wheels in it, obviously because it's a wheelie one. So I think next time I'll probably just get one that goes on your back. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking about the next place I would like to go. I'm thinking of maybe like Vietnam or Thailand, or maybe Laos or Sri Lanka, or just somewhere back in Asia, because I really loved it. So when everything quiets down, I'm going to definitely book somewhere and go on another adventure, because I was supposed to go to Lanzarote in about a week's time, but that's not going to happen. But that was going to be more of a like relaxing, laying in the sun type holiday, so that's completely different to what I've just been talking about. And then I was supposed to go to Disneyland in May, but again I don't think that's going to happen at the moment, but that's fine. I mean, these can all be rescheduled. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to going on an adventure soon. I don't know when, but it's going to be soon, and I'm definitely looking forward to possibly going on another group tour. So yeah, I will keep you guys in the loop. yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope that gave you a bit more information on kind of like the prices and visas and jabs and that kind of thing. Just things that I would want to know if I was going to Cambodia. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I will answer them, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.